Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to our party. We are here for a doll's holiday celebration. Here with Michael Canadas.
Hi,
Hello.
Rachel.
Thank you for the wonderful lunch.
Oh, you're welcome.
We hope that you guys have been enjoying today. We have 2 more packed days. This is our seminar that I have been looking forward to all day. It's called Lady Flora, and she is decked out for the holidays. Michael, start us off.
Well, Lady Flora is really what I think is one of the treasures of the Grovian Doll Museum. You could possibly walk by her and not notice. She fits into a couple of categories. To me, she really is a fashion doll, but she's also a paper doll. And in museums, one of the things you want to have is provenance. That's something that you want. It's really very unusual when you know who actually created the item and who owns it. Well, we were very lucky to get Lady Flora, and with her came, this is one little note, but there's a whole note of the period. And it states how she was made and the various trial and errors that went through making Lady Flora. She was made for a little girl named Carrie Atwater. And Carrie lived in, I'm trying to think of the state, Connecticut. And her relative made her a paper doll. Now, when she made the doll, she started out making these costumes here, which are typical paper doll, handmade paper doll costumes, where they're cut and drawn. And they were actually very fashionable because this actual design, I have seen this on as a Worth gown, Charles Frederick Worth gown.
That, beautiful.
So she created all these costumes, and the thing about Lady Flora is she was both a little girl, an enfantine, and also a lady. So she had 2 different time frames in the set. Now, when it was being made, the creator of it was not satisfied with these costumes, and she wrote in this letter that we have that I'm really not satisfied with these costumes. So she came up with a whole other idea, which was recreating the whole concept, but they were paper doll, quote, paper dolls, but then she decorated them with fabrics.
Those are just stunning.
They are, and the detail is incredible. Like here is an evening at the opera, and you can see that it has,
she has little opera glasses in there.
And then there's a fan in her hand. And here she used a little bit of, it's called blonde lace, but it's actually really Chantilly lace, but it's, instead of being black, which Chantilly lace is, it's pale, which is called blonde lace. So she created, again, the girl costumes. So Lady Flora could be a little girl, and obviously she likes to party because she has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 party dresses. And this one, well, I can't move it there, but that one is just a wonderful winter costume with the ermine and the collar, and just incredible. And this piece, I am going to remove this, so you might hear a little tear, but nothing's being torn. Look at that. It's just...
Oh, wow. Just beautiful. And then how old are these?
This is all 1860s.
All 1860s.
Yeah. Late 1860s. So it's, and we have all the dates for all of it, and then the accessories, and then you've got the again, don't be concerned about the sound, it's not hurting anything. You know, you've got your parasol, and you know, your limbs that are changed the direction. I mean, this is really a well thought out project. And then you've got your dressing robe with the embroidered paisley pattern. Those are her lady clothes. So she's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 gowns, but here is Lady Flora herself. And what they did is They took a fashion illustration and they cut the head out, and then they created the body. And this is a riding habit. And you notice the folds in it, because this would be lifted up so that when she was riding her horse, it would cover all of her limbs. And
She's
then
just beautiful, and this horse
and
is
the
just
horse.
wonderful.
I mean, it's just so clever how they did that.
And this is all hand painted.
The horse is all hand
painted.
painted.
It's so delicate.
Now, I think that she probably didn't have the greatest talent for painting faces, so she used a scrap from a magazine at the time, a periodical. But look at the skill in creating the box. I mean, the box is a masterpiece of painting, the lettering and the flowers and all of that. And this is the kind of thing that really, I try to remind people that sometimes you got to take the chance, because this is the only Lady Flora that exists, and there is no other. So you really have to make up your mind. You can't wait for the next one to come. And
No. What is this little?
and there's lots of little notes. It says cutouts, designs made about 1870, 75. I think that is that date is off. Because as time goes by, people forget what year it is and whatnot. But this is where all the information is. And this is really, I mean, your camera won't catch it, because let's face it, this is now a language that no one, you really have to sit and read this very carefully.
Very carefully.
But in 1871, this letter was sent along with the doll. So
How
So
fascinating.
the clothes, I feel, are late 60s, and it was probably a project that went on for a period of time.
Well, each one of these little pieces would take hours,
They
and
would,
hours.
and also too, you have to think about the logistical part of it, because you could create a dress, but you still have to cover. I mean, she is a doll under this, and you've got to cover up all her components. And let me see if I can get her out of her situation, which I guess I can't at this moment.
She truly
But I
is
don't wanna-
paper
I don't-
magic. This one in the back is wonderful with the purse, holding onto her little purse.
I mean, I could see any of these costumes on a French fashion doll. Totally on a French fashion doll. Any of them we would love. And actually, sometimes I look at them and get an inspiration. Like, look at how the bow is laying off the dress. It's so incredibly chic, and it's not something that the average person would think of, using a bow like that, where it's kind of asymmetrical, but it absolutely works.
And that's something, actually, an inexpensive element that you could add to a French fashion dress, is just lay the bow on there and tie it to the
something
side.
very
Look at
simple
that.
and
Beautiful.
an easy fix to give something a little more, the je ne sais quoi. And then here's another one of tulle with the blonde lace.
Look at that, so beautiful. We have a lot of doll people tuning in, and this kind of presentation appeals to people across the board, doll lovers, fashion, especially fashion. Paper dolls. We in the Paper Magic seminar from Doll Week, we saw that wonderful set that was a gentleman.
Yes.
With all of his
Yes.
clothes.
Protean man.
And that one
Yes.
was just incredible.
Yes, and that is an incredible piece, but that was manufactured, so there is more than one of them. Again, this is the only one there is.
Right.
So with her little imperfections, and it doesn't matter, because there is no other.
There are no more.
I've played at doing this, and I've made a couple of things similar, but it's not the same as the real thing. And to have all of the history, this is like the second really wonderful doll that we've had that's come out of Pasadena, California, because in the 19th century, a lot of wealthy Americans would winter in Pasadena because of the nice climate that they have in the winter. And then eventually they decided, well, we could live here all the time. So there's places like the Wrigley Mansion, Wrigley Chewing Gum. So there we do have nice little treasures in California that come up every once in a while. But what I love about this is the average thing you see, they don't include the mistakes that they've made. But when you really look at all of the mistakes and you think, gosh, I wish I could make some mistakes like that to design. I mean, this looks like a Romer or a Hieradrus. I mean, just super stunning little pieces. And you can see also how she got better as she figured out.
She perfected her
craft.
craft.
She perfected her craft.
Absolutely.
She got better. And then I think that she
good
went
for her
from
for saving it all.
she went from painting, and then she started to add crepe paper and tissue paper. And I think that that's when the decision was made, hey, I've got lots of scraps of beautiful fabrics and laces. Why don't I use those? And you can almost see here, this one is kind of like the bridge between all of it. But this is also one of my most favorites. This little pink one where they use little Dresden paper
so sweet.
to make just a sweet dress. But you can see how it went from
off the rack to couture.
Yeah. I mean, anybody would die to have a fashion doll with this wardrobe. It's
just stunning.
But she's one
what
of my
a wonderful
favorites.
thing to celebrate.
And
well, she's obviously decked out for the holidays.
yes. And what we have, we with the letter, we know where the family lived. We have photographs of their final resting place. It's really neat when you get all of that information and you can have it on one doll. And, so hopefully you'll come and see Lady Flora sometime.
Come and see her at the museum. Is she's on display right now?
Yes, she is. Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you for bringing her out of where she is right now.
Well, as
so
we
can
talked
see
about
her so
earlier, I
close.
think it's very important to
Right.
actually remove them. Now when I put her back, I'll make sure everything's clean, make sure there's not any... we don't have light problems here. We've got state-of-the-art lights, so we don't have fading and whatnot. But you still have to check your cabinets, and this is now the time that we'll do that. Maybe not today, but we'll...
We're busy.
We're busy.
We're busy because after this seminar, everybody, guess who's coming to town?
Well, yeah, I don't know.
Maybe a jolly person.
That's right.
We will find out, and you will have to tune in to find out. So if you enjoyed this, share the video, and we will be back with our last seminar of the day. Hang on tight, hang on to your britches, and get your jingle bells out. We'll see you in a minute.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.